All right, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 26th. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed their 3-day weekend. Happy Memorial Day. But it is time to start talking about biology again, right? And so we are picking up on evolution number 2, right? And one of the ways I want you to make a connection with this topic is that evolution, in a lot of ways, is just saying change over time. And you can see um, the change in different species over time. And so I want to just specify on humans really quickly and just kind of look into some of the stages that human evolution kind of started. And so here we just have kind of a chart, right? And this is by millions of years ago, right? I just Google searched human evolution. I chose the third option, but there are a lot of different species in geological time that have been related to Homo sapiens. All right, we are up here. All right, and through natural selection and evolution, we have changed away from all of these other related species. And the length of these green lines are how long that species lasted in evolutionary time. And so up here, see this very short one, and over here, this short one as well, right? Sometimes, like we saw last week in that Avita Ed visual representation, a new species will pop up and then it will just go away, right? And a lot of that has to do with how the environment will select for it, right? And so here's just a little bit. So over here on the left, all right, probably one of our more distant ancestors. And then as we move towards the right, all right, we slowly become a little bit more humanoid-like, right? And then we reach Homo sapiens all the way over here. All right, and so that's all I really wanted to go into as far as human development. And now I just want to go into a little bit of environmental pressures, all right? And so for this, I need you to use your imagination a little bit, right? So what does it mean to pressure someone, all right? Like we can relate to a lot of that with like peer pressure and such. It's just, it's the tendency to do something because the surroundings is telling you to do it, right? And that can be related to biological evolution in a lot of ways, because if you think about it, let's use the example animal of squirrels, okay? In East Long Meadow, we have a predominant amount of gray squirrels, all right? And then I spend a lot of time in Southwick, Massachusetts. And in Southwick, Massachusetts, the majority of their squirrels, and it's only a half hour away, is they are black-furred squirrels, right? And only having a half hour's time separating those two as far as distance, you have two very distinct phenotypes being expressed in different amounts. East Long Meadow, we probably still have some black squirrels, but we don't have that in the majority because our environment is going to select for the gray squirrels to be more evolutionarily fit, right? Remember, fitness is a very vague word when it comes to evolution. And it just means that if some species is more fit than another, they are just going to be more likely to survive. And so out in Southwick, they have a lot of marsh and they have a lot of just natural standing water and big farmlands, all right? And so there's not a lot of tree cover over there because it's a lot of farmland. And so where do squirrels live? They live in trees, right? And so because there's less trees, the environmental pressures in Southwick are going to pressure the species of squirrels to have darker fur. And that is going to help the darker furred squirrels to survive. And this just uses the idea of how easy is it to see a black spider on a white wall. And as far as predation goes, if you can camouflage and blend in more with your surroundings, you're not going to get eaten, right? And if you don't get eaten, what opportunity do you have, right? Your opportunity that you have is reproduction, all right? And so if all of the gray squirrels in Southwick were consumed through predation, those gray squirrels cannot cannot reproduce because they're dead. And through predation and environmental pressures mixed with natural selection, right? There's a lot of variables. You can get this very drastic change in phenotype after you've only gone, again, maybe 20 actual miles away. And so through time, things like squirrels, giraffe necks, every species that lives on this world currently has gone through natural selection. And that includes plant life and animal life. And so one of the biggest things that MCAS likes students to be able to reiterate is how an environment is going to cause a common ancestor to diverge into two species, right? And so last week we talked about the Galapagos Islands with Charles Darwin. And we said that he saw so many of these finches, and all of these finches, he bagged and tagged them, meaning that he brought them back with him, and he had them analyzed by one of the leading specialists for birds at the time. And the specialist stated that he could not say that the birds were the same species. They were all different species, but they're all coming from the same island. And that was baffling for Charles Darwin, and he started asking why. And that's when the Origins of Life book became written. And so Charles Darwin opened the world's eyes to the fact that what we see today is not how it was long ago. And long ago is millions, if not billions of years ago. And so we saw it with whales and other types of porpoises in last week's assignment, that over time, you're going to select for things that you need. And if you don't need it, you're going to slowly, through evolution, which is slow, you're going to see that recede. And so the Homo sapien tailbone is one of the things that we've already brought up in class, right? We have a tailbone, but we have no tail. But the tailbone allows us to infer that we used to have a tail in our ancestry. Same thing with the hip bones in the whale. Because whales have hip bones, we were able to tell that its ancestor came from land. And so there's a receding and such, and there's a lot of additional things that are gonna go away, but that's all theory. Some people think that Homo sapiens are gonna start starting to select to get rid of our fifth toe, our pinky toes. Most of our weight is up on our big toes, so we can kind of see how we don't really use it. But I don't think we're going to get rid of our big toe. I mean, our pinky toes, because we have 5 digits in our hands, and we should have 5 digits on our toes. And so I don't really see that going anywhere. But as far as biological evolution goes, big notes to kind of remember, right? Natural selection and evolution are almost never not used together, right? Evolution is driven by natural selection. Again, evolution is change over time, and natural selection is what is going to be chosen by nature. And again, through things like predation and fitness and reproductive success, you're going to have these different populations showing different phenotypes start to show a bit more success within the environment. And the most successful phenotype is going to be sought after and expressed in more amounts. And slowly but surely, these minority phenotypes, the phenotype that does not allow that individual to be as fit as it could be, will die out, right? So that's about it for this week on evolution. I didn't really want to pull up another PowerPoint and such, because evolution is a massive, massive topic. And as long as you guys can kind of see how there are multiple things you need to consider when thinking about the evolutionary fitness of something, you guys are in pretty good shape. You know, remote learning week 2 on evolution, as long as my students know that natural selection and evolution pretty much go hand in hand, and they're able to talk about environmental pressures and kind of work those understandings into a word prompt. Hint, hint for today for today's postings for this week's assignment. You guys are going to be okay. All right. Everyone did pretty good on the YouTube assignment last week. I'll be putting that into the grade book later today. And yep, this is it for evolution. And so if you have any questions, please come to the Google Hangouts. All right. As we're tapering off this school year, we really only have 2 more new weeks of material. And so this is the end of evolution. And then the next 2 lecture videos are going to be on human anatomy. And then after those 2 human anatomy videos, we are in the last week of school. And I'll tell you about that later. All right. So keep up with the content, guys. I'll be posting the assignment after this video. Awesome. All right. Stay with it, everybody. Thank you so much.